The name of the course is Macroeconomics, and the introduction is mentioned over here. First of all, coming towards reading materials, the core textbook which we will be using for this semester is Macroeconomics by N. Gregory Menkev, latest edition, and the reference textbook is Economics by Samuelson Nordus, latest edition. Assessment scheme is as follows. The weightage of quizzes will be 15%, 10% for assignments. First sessional exam has 10% weightage, second sessional exam has 15% weightage, and the final exam has 50% weightage. Now the first chapter of this book is the science of macroeconomics. Learning objectives. This chapter introduces you to the issues macroeconomists study, the tools macroeconomists use, and some important concepts in macroeconomic analysis. Macroeconomics. The definition of macroeconomics is given over here. The field of economics that studies the behavior of the aggregate economy. When we study economy as a whole, that is actually known as macroeconomics. Macroeconomics examines economy-wide phenomena such as changes in unemployment, national income, rate of growth, gross domestic product or GDP, inflation and price levels. So all these concepts come under the scope of macroeconomics. These all concepts tell us about the whole economy. When we talk about unemployment, then it means that we are talking about unemployment of whole economy, not an individual. Similarly, when we talk about inflation, poverty, price level, then it means that we are considering these factors for whole economy. So all these concepts are included under the scope of macroeconomics. Some important issues in macroeconomics. Some of the important issues that are discussed in macroeconomics are: why does the cost of living keep rising? What are the factors behind it? What are the different parameters that affect the cost of living? Why are millions of people unemployed even when the economy is booming? When economy is growing, then why millions of people are unemployed? We will discuss reasons or factors that are the cause of unemployment. Next issue is, why are there recessions? Can the government do anything to combat recessions? How can we control recessions in economy? Another issue in macroeconomics is, what is the government budget deficit? What are the reasons of it? How does it affect the economy? Why does the US have such a trade deficit? Or why all countries have trade deficit? Here we talk about open economy and international trade and the reasons behind this issue. Why are so many countries poor? What policies might help them grow out of poverty? What are the factors that are the cause of poverty? How poverty can be measured? How we can control poverty? These all are the issues in macroeconomics, and we will discuss them in detail in our upcoming lectures. Just for example, there is a graph of US gross domestic product. It shows the positive trend here. Although there are few periods in which there is little recession, such as in 1975, 1980, 1984, then there is a continuous increase in the growth of US economy. In some countries, you can see the fluctuations in GDP growth, which explains that the economy of that country is not stable. There are many reasons behind it, such as terrorism, political instability, etc. Now, this slide is about why we learn macroeconomics. We learn macroeconomics because of some reasons, that is, the macroeconomy affects society's well-being as a whole. When we talk about unemployment and social problems, then it means that we are talking about society or whole economy. So when we talk about social issues or problems, then we are talking about whole society or whole economy. Second reason is the macroeconomy also affects your well-being or individual well-being. For example, it affects unemployment and earnings uh, growth, and it also affects the interest rate and mortgage payments. One more reason could be the macroeconomy affects politics and current events. For example, inflation and unemployment in election years. So, the parameters can also affect politics and current events that are happening in societies and in economies. Here you can see inflation and unemployment in election years in USA. Here unemployment rate and inflation rate for different years are mentioned. If we talk about Carter in 1976, unemployment rate was 7.7% and inflation rate was 5.8% in US economy. In 1980, during Reagan period, unemployment rate was 7.1% and inflation rate was 13.5%. In 1984, unemployment was 7.5% and inflation rate was 4.3%, that was low. In 1988, unemployment rate was 5.5% and inflation rate was 4.8% during Bush 1 period. In 1992, unemployment rate was 7.5% and inflation rate was 3.0% in Clinton period. In Clinton period, inflation rate is quite low. In 1996, unemployment rate was 5.4%, that is low, and inflation rate was 3.3% in Clinton period. And in 2000, in Bush 2 period, unemployment rate was 4% and inflation rate was 3.4%. So you can see that unemployment rate and inflation rate is quite different in election years in USA. So macroeconomy can also affect politics and current affairs of the country. So political stability can affect in a positive manner to macroeconomic parameters. Economic models. Economists use different models in macroeconomics because they try to explain relationship among different variables. Models are simplified version of a more complex reality. We can study difficult or complex phenomena in a simplest way with help of models. When we discuss relationship in form of models, then we try to strip away the irrelevant details from the model. Models are used to show the relationship between economic variables, as we have discussed inflation and unemployment, so we can find the relationship of these variables with help of these models. We can also check whether these variables are positively or negatively related with each other. Secondly, models are used to explain economy's behavior, whether the economy is growing or not. So they explain the state of economy as well. Models are also used to devise policies to improve economic performance in the country. So we use models to predict or forecast and develop policy implications on the basis of analysis from these models. So you can say that models play vital role in macroeconomics. Here is an example of model in which we have taken supply and demand for new cars. We will discuss demand of new cars and supply of new cars and try to determine the equilibrium in a car market. How these two forces are used in model to explain the demand and supply of new cars. It explains the factor that determine the price of car and the quantity sold. Whenever we explain a model in economics, we uh, we make some assumptions as well. So here we assume that the market is competitive, which means that each buyers and sellers is too small to affect the market price. When there are large number of buyers and sellers in the market, then no single buyer or seller can affect the price of the product. This is known as competitive market, means price is given and determined by the market forces of supply and demand. Variables which we are going to use in this model are quantity demanded, that is quantity of cars that buyers demand, quantity supplied, that is quantity that producers supply, P, price of new cars, Y, that is aggregate income, and P, that is a price of steel or price of an input. The demand of cars can be written as quantity demanded is a function of price of product and price of the product, that is car, and aggregate income, that is Y. So demand of car depends upon two parameters, that is price of car P and aggregate income, that is Y. This equation shows that the quantity of cars consumer demand is related to price of car and aggregate income. So here is the demand equation that shows that the quantity of cars consumers demand is related to the price of cars, this variable P, and aggregate income, that is Y. General functional notation shows only that the variables are related. Here quantity demanded is equals to price and aggregate income, which shows that quantity demanded is a function of price and aggregate income, like a list of variables that affect quantity demand. So these two variables, that are price and aggregate income, are like a list of variables that affect the quantity demanded. So price and income are variables that affect quantity demanded of cars. Now the question is how these variables are related with quantity demanded. As far as price of car is concerned, it has negative relationship with quantity demanded of car. If price of car increases, then its demand decreases, and if price of car decreases, then the demand of car increases. And on the other hand, aggregate income has positive relationship with quantity demanded. If income increases, then demand of car also increases and vice versa. We can transform functional form into a specific functional form. A specific functional form shows the precise quantitative relationship. For example, now we can write the demand function as quantity demanded, that is the function of price and income, is equals to 60 minus 10p plus 2y. Now what this form explains here, if we see the sign of coefficient price, which is minus 10, means that price is negatively affecting the demand. If there is 1% change in price, then there will be 10% change in quantity demanded of car. The sign of the coefficient shows the relationship between those variables, either it's positive or negative. Here the sign of aggregate income is positive, that is plus 2. If aggregate income increases, then quantity demanded for car also increases and vice versa. Here is another example. We can write this function as quantity demanded, that is function of price and income, is equals to 0.3y divided by p. If you convert it, then it becomes 0.3y minus p. Again, price has negative sign, which shows negative relation between price and quantity demanded, and income has plus sign, that is the positive sign, which shows the positive relation between aggregate income and quantity demanded.